What's up guys, FlamingVictini here, and I'm back for another World Cup game. This time we've got Jamvad versus Dekzeh. Jamvad is going to be using a Charizard, probably Y plus Dugtrio team, and Dekzeh is going to be using a Rain team featuring Hawlucha. Now, interestingly enough, we don't see... Oh, actually, it might be a Psychic Seed Tapu. It might be a Psychic Seed Hawlucha. One recent strategy we've been seeing recently with Hawlucha is using a Terrain Seed, which activates while the terrain is up. Psychic Seed and Misty Seed give +1 SPDF, and Electric Seed and Grassy Seed give +1 defense. And using the Seed boost to activate Hawlucha's Unburden and also make it easier to set up. So in this case, Dekzeh's got a Hawlucha, he's got a Lele, he's got Manectric Rain, Ferrothorn to set up the hazards, and the classic Kingdra Pelipper core. Jamvad's got two Weather Setters of his own. He's got Charizard Y, most likely, and he's got that T-Tar, so I feel he definitely has some adequate counterplay against Rain. He's also got that Ferrothorn, which is quite annoying to Rain teams usually. We'll have to see if Dekzeh is running knockoff on his Ferrothorn. I feel like a lot of Rain teams tend to do that, but a lot of them also tend to use Choppleberry if they find themselves weak to fighting types. So we'll have to see if that's what Dekzeh is, but the Zardway is definitely looking threatening. I'm not really sure if it can break through Pelipper if the Pelipper is running a bulky set, because most Zardways nowadays are running HP Ice to hit Zygarde. Don't really see HP Electric, and Solar Beam won't do a lot if the Rain comes in. So the moment where Zard is most dangerous is when it can Mega Evolve and set the sun up guaranteed. That's the turn it's going to be very, very dangerous because it can Mega Evolve and just throw out a big Fire Blast. And if Dekzeh just makes the wrong play, he goes to Kingdra instead of Solar Beam, or even if he takes a Sun Boosted Fire Blast, not so great. Okay, this is what I was expecting, that Dekzeh is going to lead with his Manectric, as Jamvad is going to lead with the Zard. And so this is going to pressure Jam to switch out of his Zard, maybe into Mew, maybe into T-Tar, maybe into Dugtrio, depending on what he wants to do. Honestly, Dugtrio would probably be fine, I highly doubt Dekzeh would predict Dugtrio, but he does just go safe to the T-Tar, as the Manectric does just Volt Switch. Jamvad's not wanting to take any risks that Dugtrio and gets in T-Tar. Dekzeh gets off the Volt Switch on a switch, which means if he goes to Pelipper, he's setting up that Rain, and that can be really nice for him, but depending on the speed tier of the Pelipper and the Triatar, the Peli might still be threatened out by the T-Tar. Now, if it's like a CB T-Tar, he wants to be careful about just going to Ferrothorn or something, because of Fire Punch would just completely annihilate it, and a lot more T-Tars have been trying to carry that Fire Punch. I'm not really sure if Jamvad's running that, it might just be Superpower. We do see Earthquake a bit more often than Superpower nowadays on CB T-Tar. But it could be a variety of moves in the last slot. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be choice banded. It could also just be just a standard Rocks T-Tar with Rocks not being on the Ferrothorn. It could also be... I mean, the Mew is definitely Defog. And if you're running Defog with Zard, I feel like you might not push for spikes. He does choose to go to Lele, takes a little bit of Sand Chip, and sets up the Psychic Terrain. Now, Jamvad has several Lele switch-ins, Zard can kind of come in on Lele if it doesn't get hit by a Psychic move. Celesteela is generally very switch safe to Lele. It'd have to be like Gigavolt Havoc Lele to really threaten Celesteela. Mew can even switch into Lele if it's pretty specially defensive. So Jamvad's got some options here. I think the goal right now with Dekzeh is just to basically push out this T-Tar, and he's not confident enough to go to Pelipper, which kind of indicates to me that he's definitely not a offensive set, because if he was offensive, he'd definitely be faster than T-Tar, because T-Tar does not run Scarf really in this metagame. It doesn't really make sense on Jamvad's team either. So if he was offensive Peli, he would have been pretty confident in going to Peli, but he went Lele, so I do think it is some sort of defensive Pelipper, and that will help him with the T-Tar. Yeah, it will help him with the T-Tar, but, sorry, with the Zard. With the Zard, my bad, if he wants to be able to switch into Zard. Now, I'm trying to think, when is Jamvad going to get a chance to Mega Evolve his Charizard Y? Because he definitely wants to do that. And it might be versus that Ferrothorn, if he can bring that in on the Ferrothorn. He actually goes hard Zard on the Moonblast. Oh my god. That was an aggressive play. We see that the Zard took damage before the Lele did, so the Lele is not Choice Scarf. The Moonblast did 30%. I feel like Specs Moonblast would have done more. Because the Zard is unmegaed, it still doesn't have that boosted special defense. So that's not it could be like a Shed Shell Lele, which is a really, really bad outdated set for breaking stall. because his team is stall weak, and he may just be like, oh, Shed Shell Lele helps me with his stall, when really, Lele does not really answer stall. A Thunder right there would have been risky, but because I mean, it's Tapu Lele and Rain, it could be carrying Thunder, but man, that was a risky play, but it ended up paying out, and he knows he's faster too now, so he gets a little more information about what the Lele set is, knows that it's not, well, it could be, I don't think it's choiced. Well, it's not Scarf, and I don't think that's Specs damage, so it's not choiced. So that's something good for Jamvad to keep in mind. And this is a turn where you Mega Evolve and you smash that strong button. Dekzeh might go Kingdra here, predicting the Fire Blast so that he can pivot to his Pelipper. And Jamvad... how would Jamvad want to play this? Because he's gonna, if he does Fire Blast on the Kingdra switch, he gets some decent damage, but not as much as he'd like to do. But I don't know if it's worth the risk of Solar Beaming, as Dekzeh just instead sacks his Ferrothorn. Not, oh my god, I'm not necessarily sure I agree with that play from Jamvad, because I don't agree with that play. Because this Zard was getting a kill, and now it's not getting a kill. Because now Pelipper just comes in. Is this HP Electric Zard? Because if it's HP Electric Zard, then that works perfectly fine. But otherwise, I'm not really sure why you'd roost off just for that 30% when you're getting basically a free kill, or some really, really solid damage on that Kingdra. Even if it's quad resisted, it's a Sun boosted Fire Blast from Zard Y with like base 165 special attack or something of the sorts. So I do think Fire Blast was just the play right there, and he would have gotten a kill on this Ferrothorn, which would have been really nice. But instead, Dekzeh has the opportunity to switch to his Pelipper. Dekzeh, I don't this stuff to play fast. A bit confused. But Pelipper should be coming in, as Jamvad makes the play of going T-Tar, but he is faster, so... What? Okay, I am confused. Now I'm legitimately confused. What is the play there? what was going on there? What? I don't understand. Oh, that is a Choice Banded Tyranitar for sure. That is definitely a Choice Banded Tyranitar. Gets off a really nice pursuit. Mew is going to come in on the Ferrothorn, which is just going to completely block rocks because Mew is Mew. Ferrothorn's going to stay in on the obvious defog to get off that knockoff. Yes, so it is indeed knockoff Ferrothorn. Still not going to be that great in this situation, but at least he gets that knockoff on the Mew. He's going to play the... He's going to U-turn into his Kingdra. That's his play. The problem is that Ferrothorn is lurking, so breaking the Ferrothorn plus Mew defensive core is what's going to be the challenge for Dekzeh. And it might come down to how well his Tapu Lele is able to pressure them. Now maybe if the Lele was running a good set instead of Shed Shell, it would have been better, but Shed Shell might actually come in handy here because Jamvad is indeed running a Dugtrio, so that might play into play. I'm just guessing that it's Shed Shell. Also from the fact that Dekzeh is not exactly a very modern SMOU player, mostly an old gen's ADV player, very good one at that, but not necessarily an up-to-date SM player, so that's why I think he might still be using Shed Shell Lele. Jamvad might just trade the Wisp here for the U-turn, but the Pelipper, he could also very easily Scald, and I mean, honestly, I'd rather have Mew take the Scald than Ferrothorn take the Scald, because once Ferrothorn takes the Scald, then it becomes much harder for Jamvad. He does just choose to go Zard on the Pelipper as the Pelipper U-turns. I do think Zard is a really nice play by Jam, because Zard is a good switch to, Zard is a good switch to Pelipper. Immediately remove the Rain, take nothing from Scald, and you've got Zard in with Sun. So this is going to be really hard for Dekzeh to break. Now the Manectric comes in here on the Zard. It can Volt Switch on a non-Dougie switch, or it can Volt Switch on a Dougie switch, or it can catch a Dougie switch. Like, it's either Dougie or not Dougie, and if Dekzeh keeps on Volt Switching on non-Dougies and then catches the Dougie on the right turn, this Manectric can definitely become a threat. Here comes the Dougie, and he just T-bolts. Ooh, the Dugtrio is in, and if this Dugtrio has Sucker Punch, this Manectric is dead. It's Scarf Dugtrio, and that Manectric is gone, yeah. Whew. This is looking tough for Dekzeh. This is looking tough. I don't know how he's gonna break this. Mew should be having... This is not gonna help him, because he's just gonna... Zard's just gonna come in. Zard's just gonna come back in again. Let's see how much Scald does if he goes for that. No, he just U-turns, so... Gotten another 5%. Gotten 5% on the Zard, and he is screwed. Royally screwed. He goes Kingdra. Goes King... I don't know how he's gonna be able to do this, because U-turn's not gonna chip him fast enough. He's gotta somehow break with Hawlucha, and I don't really know how he's gonna manage to do that. He pulls the double into Pelipper. I mean, yeah, he can keep playing the game with switching around with Pelipper Zard, but it's tricky. And he just scalds to fish for the burn on Ferrothorn. He gets the burn as the Pelipper knocks off the specs on the Pelipper. What? It was a fast specs Pelipper? Oh my god, Pelipper has base 65 speed, so maybe he was expecting Jolly Bantard? No, that doesn't exist. Holy shit, 51 to Zard? That is a lot. And if he has specs, he had specs pumping the sun to throw out. That would have been really nice. Because I was thinking that this was a... defensive Pelipper based on the way he played it, but no, it's offensive specs, and he definitely missed an opportunity to take advantage of this Pelipper, because this Pelipper is dangerous. Okay, does he not have Pump? Does he just not have Pump? I don't understand. He just doesn't have Pump? And yeah, Hurricane is affected by Sun. It's only 50% accurate in the Sun. Now he has to take a Flamethrower from the Kingdra and go back to Pelipper. Jamvad is faster, so he can't like pull a double to set up get T-Tar in on the Pelly. And plus, if it's Specs Pelly, it's most likely faster than the T-Tar if you're running a good set. The Kingdra just Hydro Pumps on the Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn's gonna come in. Rocks are gonna go up. And, ooh, I don't like the situation for Dekzeh. It's definitely looking good for Jamvad, but I feel like somehow he has a chance. Somehow? I feel like he really doesn't, but somehow something is gonna work. He just needs to keep walling that Zard with his Pelipper, and see, if Jamvad had just Flamethrowered and killed the Ferrothorn, he would have straight up won, because Dekzeh wouldn't have any hazards of his own, and thus Jamvad could just set up his own hazards and pressure the Pelipper and the Kingdra, punish the Lele, punish the... If Jamvad could keep up his own hazards freely without having to worry about defogging away the hazards for his Zard, this would have been a very, very clear win. Now it's a little less clear because they have to play the hazard game, and I mean, technically if they can keep it going on in the long run for a really long time, then this, yeah, not really sure I agree with that play. I mean, you're just gonna go Zard again and set up the Sun. Like, you're not gonna be able to keep the rain unless you hacks this Zard or something of like that. Apparently something happened in the chat. Zard comes in again. Oh, it's Defog Pelly. What the? Specs Defog Pelly? What? Man, this is the weirdest thing I've seen. And this is a bad play on his end, because now he's just... Yeah, there we go. This is exactly why you don't make that play. This guy is so stupid. Oh my god. You have to use Pelipper to switch into Zard, and you have to trade hazards with Ferrothorn every time. Like, that's just the only way it works. The thing is, Jamvad definitely had a clear advantage because he's the one who has a breaking power, and Dekzeh is just lacking that breaking power. And also Jamvad gets the initiative with the rocks, which means he can possibly knock off Dekzeh's Ferrothorn on the switch-in. Dekzeh's Ferrothorn on his throwing up the rocks, depending on how he wants to play it, and might get an advantage in that way. But with the Pelly dead, this is a done game. This is literally done. It's basically completely won. He goes Celesteela on the pump, that does absolutely nothing. And he's just gonna get toasted. Jesus Christ. Yeah, he's just gonna... get toasted completely. He's just click and pump, seeds go up. Sorry, was that doing damage? I think he just healed it up completely. Tapu Lele comes in on a protect, trying to salvage some sort of gameplay. Maybe he can attempt to like win with Hawlucha if the Mew like is like knockoff Mew and he can't hit the Hawlucha and the Hawlucha is substitute and it gets the SD and it boosts up on Mew and wins. I don't know. Maybe that's the only way he can do this. That's the only way I can see, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I mean, technically he doesn't need an SD to... I don't think he needs an SD to kill the Zard with acrobatics. So technically, if the Mew is running a set that makes it setup fodder to Hawlucha, and then there's a possibility. But if the Mew just beats the Hawlucha, then there's no chance for Dekzeh. Maybe it's like Wisp Ice Beam Mew, because it's Defog Mew, and maybe because of the Psychic Seed, Hawlucha can take a Defog well enough, an Ice Beam well enough that he can play a game of subbing on the Wisp, and then SDing on an Ice Beam, and then killing everything. Maybe that's Dekzeh's last chance. Jamvad's gonna sack his T-Tar on the Gigavolt Havoc. Oh my god, excellently played by Jamvad. So it is not Shed Shell, it's just C-Move, okay. But yeah, that's an excellent move by Jamvad, really nicely played. Safe play to just preserve his Celesteela. He doesn't really need his T-Tar for anything now that the Pelly is dead. And yeah, this was a solid play by Jam. Very solid play. Lele is just going to take out the T-Tar. Maybe he could have attempted to use the T-Tar as setup fodder, but probably not. If it is a Seed Hawlucha, then he is going to need to keep around this Lele. If it's not a Seed Hawlucha, if it's just like Citrus and Burden, then I mean, he's going to take a bigger chunk from Ice Beam. But, I don't know. I mean, even so, if Seed Hawluchas generally run like Drain Punch in the 4th move, not Substitute, so it's like maybe it's a Wisp, maybe a Will-O-Wisp Miss or something like that. Maybe there's some very rare circumstance where Hawlucha is going to be able to win, like maybe it gets a crit on the HJK on the Celesteela mistimes its Protect or something like that. I mean, Jamvad probably wouldn't even go for Protect at risk of getting SD'd, having a Protect on the SD, an SD on the Protect and then just losing. So Charizard Y comes in, and yeah, he also needs to find the setup opportunity with the Hawlucha, and how is he going to force that setup op? Maybe he can get it on Ferrothorn. He might be able to get it on Ferrothorn, but at this point, Jamvad should be going Celesteela on the Kingdra. So I don't see it. I don't see the Hawlucha getting that setup op. I think maybe he should have just tried to not kill the T-Tar and sack something else. Hope the T-Tar clicked Stone Edge and misses, or that it clicked Crunch and it's not doing too much. At least that's what I would have gone for. But Jamvad is in. He's got Flamethrowers, so he's not even risking misses. He can just click Flamethrower, no worries. No worries whatsoever. And yeah, this is looking nasty for Dekzeh. I think this is pretty much over, but we'll have to see. I don't really see any win con for Dekzeh other than that Hawlucha. He does indeed sack the Ferrothorn so he can get in his Kingdra and pressure out the Zard. I mean, should be... Oh, wait, what? Okay, he is Seed. He is Seed. That's what he's going for. So yeah, these guys. He's gonna sack the Kingdra and bring in the Hawlucha the next turn. These guys are chat. The chat is silly, but yeah, it is Psychic Seed Hawlucha, because that's the only reason you make that play. So Hawlucha's gonna come in, the Psychic Seed's gonna activate, and yeah, his best play is to just stay in Flamethrower, so he's just gonna aggro to take it out. The Mew's gonna come in. Now we play the game. Now we play the game if Hawlucha can do it. Okay, so he just goes straight for the SD, meaning he doesn't have substitute, and Jamvad connects the Wisp. Okay, so now I think this game is pretty much done. He tries to SD again, as it is indeed Ice Beam Mew. Because of that Psychic Seed boost, it only does 44%, though that is enough to get another KO on this Lucha. Doesn't even need the burn damage unless he gets a lower roll. But yeah, basically, after he hit that Wisp, this game was pretty much done. If the Wisp missed, or if the Hawlucha showed him to be sub, then Bensme would have been in Jamvad would have been in a trickier position. If it was substitute, he would have had to, like, either he might have just Ice Beamed on the Hawlucha's second SD, and then try to play for Iron Worms damage, but that might be really risky, or play for HAK. So, but if he Will Wisps on a SD, he's in a much more screwed position. In that position, he basically has to get the Protect the Celesteela, because then the Hawlucha will only be at like 50%-ish. But because if he substitutes on both Wisps and gets off 2 SDs, then he'll be at 50%. I am assuming a +3 non-burn acrobatics will kill the Mew, but I feel pretty confident it would kill the Mew. But yeah, basically that's all over. He hit the first Wisp, which pretty much just sealed the deal. I'm not really sure if Dekzeh can come back at this point. Maybe he can, maybe he won't. If I was Jam, I think he can just... I'm pretty sure he can just, like, Ice Beam again, because he's got Ferrothorn, Celesteela, and Dugtrio to beat that Lele, which should be more than enough. Lele needs to get, like, crit Focus Blast on Ferrothorn plus crit Thunder on the Celesteela. He Drain Punches to get some more health back. Ice Beam does another 46, and he lives at 4%, but it's not really going to help him much in the long run. Extra 20% is not going to make the difference, because even if he gets a crit and kills the Mew, his Hawlucha is going to die. That is 51, so yeah, a non-burned +3 Lucha, a +4 Lucha with 2 SDs would have been able to kill the Mew. But that would require some serious luck to get, so that's why I think maybe he... I don't know, CB Crunch probably does a ton to Hawlucha. Probably does, so maybe that wasn't going to be a setup opportunity that works, but... He played for the Wisp Miss, didn't get it, and now he's basically lost. He's going to have to crit his moves. Jamvad's going to go for the Protect to get that Lefty's recovery, no reason not to. Lele doesn't seem to be Calm Mind. I mean, it might be risky if the Lele was Calm Mind, because then, oh, then you would be in trouble. But Calm Mind, it's usually Taunt, I guess. Honestly, though, if I was Dekzeh, I would be running Calm Mind, so I'm not really sure if that Protect play was the right move. Yeah, because if it was Calm Mind Lele, then suddenly Dekzeh just has to hit his attacks. I think. I'm pretty sure Celesteela would have a hard time living a +1 Thunder. But yeah, he gets hit by the Power Whip, which puts him in range of Dugtrio's EQ, so this game is over. He clicks Focus, misses, Leech Seed, I mean, not really gonna matter, this game is over because of Dougie. And yeah, that's basically it, so I hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you after this Dugtrio kills this Lele. Yeah, there we go. So, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.